Hello, Laker fans. This is the Lakers Fast Break. I'm your host, Joe Soro. Gerald Glassford is, I believe, en route to the studio. He will be here shortly, but I wanted to go in and discuss some details on tonight's game against the New Orleans Pelicans. It looked for a little bit there that the Lakers were going to have a dud, but they were resilient there at the end of the third, beginning of the fourth. And with thanks, of course, to Mr. LeBron James, I thought tonight's game for LeBron, he's had some good games this year. I'm not going to say he hasn't, but this might have been the one where I was like, damn, this looks like prime LeBron. He had his little alley-oop that where I think his chin was at the rim again, and then made some amazing shots, three-point shots, his usual freight train to the basket layups in crucial times. So props to LeBron, props to the Lakers. These games, again, have an 82-game season. You're going to have some of these games against the lower-end type teams, but they ended up winning 111 to 103 tonight, going 23-11 for the season, and now they're sitting at 13-5 on the road. That's a huge it's a huge benefit for the next couple months when you're ahead of the road games, the road wins the way they are. They're going to play San Antonio tomorrow, so we're gonna talk more about that and see how that kind of plays up. But we are going to talk more about tonight's game. I'll try to answer your questions here until Gerald gets here, and I'm sure that I don't know if John's going to be here or if Legend's going to be here, but I'll do my best to do what I do. I was waiting for this. So admit LeBron is the GOAT. No, he's not the GOAT, but he is the GOAT of his era. That's there's no argument there, and I'm on record saying that LeBron after 2010 has been number one. I never in any way, even though Steph Curry won a couple of MVPs, Durant won an MVP in 14, there has never been any time in any realm during their career where Steph Curry or Durant were better than LeBron James. LeBron James has been number one, and he's been number one for a long time. I'm not using him in the Jokic era, obviously. That's a little different. He's still amazing the last 5-6 years, but I'm talking about when you put it all together, LeBron is still the best of his era, and that's essentially where I'm going to stay. I'm not going to get into this back and forth with you guys because some of you guys weren't even alive when MJ was playing, or you were too busy sucking on your mommy's titty. So you're not going to really know anyways, and I'm just arguing to a wall at that point. Let's see. Where are we here? Leaving. So there you go. There's the update. So leaving the Bellagio, Mr. Bellagio. That's where Gerald hangs out. He's Mr. Big Shot hanging out Bellagio. So he'll be here probably within the next 20 minutes, I think, because I think that last 2 minutes of the game took like 40 minutes, like it usually does. Let's see here. What did I say? Marts, farts. Is that really you actually when you were typing that was the first like this is gonna work. Marts, farts, sports. That's really how your brain works. MJ at 41. MJ at 41. How about MJ between 20 and 35? How about that? Go look it up. You'll see what he did in those years. Yeah, whatever. So Mark, we missed you at the show, man. Thanks for the props there, man. We will. See here. Yes, I am. LOL. Gerald is vibing in Bellagio. Guys, I was trying to be complimentary. Now you're starting to go a little overboard. And of course, Gerald started sucking on his own teeth there. Gerald's just driving from the Bellagio to his house. He doesn't do anything there. So that's just I hate to break it to you, but that's what's going on. In other words, Gerald was partying in Bellagio. No, not at all. Greg, always a pleasure. Thank you for being at Vari's favorite setting, which is Discord. That's where we were tonight. Had a pretty good night tonight. We had some good conversations, a lot of laughs. But going back to the game, I I didn't know what to make of the game going into it. I felt pretty confident that they would win it, and you know you're you'll start to get a tone on the game a little bit. And when New Orleans went up, what was it, 8 or 9? You're like, seven. I think it was 7 actually. The last memory I have was 7. I'm sitting there, I'm like, you guys really gonna like the way the Pelicans were kind of going back and forth? I was like, man, these guys look like they're about a half a step ahead of the Lakers. And then you're sitting there and you're watching and you're watching. And how many games have we watched in our lives? I know I've watched God knows how many games, thousands, right? And I'm sitting there going, it's probably going to take one of these guys to start going off, meaning LeBron, Luka, basically, right? The stars. And of course, that's exactly what happened. And if there was ever an understanding of what that means in basketball, especially in NBA basketball, stars are the only players that matter in a basketball game, other than the occasional role player that will do something spectacular. But when it comes to games like this, right? When it comes to that, man, this team is a half a step ahead of you. You shouldn't be losing to this team. This is not going to look good if you keep doing this. But then what happens is you get a star, and LeBron is still a star. He's not from 5 years ago, but he's still a star. And then Luka, and then those are the guys that separate all that, right? They start making shots. They start making shots that they shouldn't be making, even though they should make it, but they don't make it, but they are making it. And then you'll start seeing circus shots like Luka had in his last 2 threes, right? Like as soon as you saw the first one go up, I'm like, this looks like it's in line. It's going to go in. It went in. And then that Kobe one he did that pretty much sealed the game. That one, even though it was discombobulated, I was like, that thing's going in. I could just see the arc in it, the arc, whatever. And I mean, boop, boop, in and out, in and in, I should say. And that is why you need stars. That's why stars are always present in championship areas. So I'm not really looking at this game as a barometer in anything other than, hey, look, they won a road game. They had a little bit of metal that they showed. A lot of the guys weren't playing well. DeAndre Ayton just couldn't. It didn't seem like he could get the ball in the hole from where his normal good spots are. Right. Marcus Smart hit some really good corner threes. I thought he played pretty well tonight. But Marcus Smart's always going to have some kind of weird decision where you're wondering, does he know where he is, and does he know what basketball is? Not a lot, but he had a few. And then Vanderbilt had his usual game, which is you're sitting there and you're like, man, he's doing good things there, but you're almost kind of waiting for him to screw something up, and of course he does. It's just his game is just not fluid and it's not consistent. But he tries hard, right? So you kind of give him the benefit of the doubt from that. LaRavia didn't have a good game tonight, considering he had really good games the last 2 games. Tonight, he kind of showed up at the end there with a key rebound and a key three-pointer, but he was pretty much useless tonight. He only had like 5 points, and a lot of times points don't tell you the truth, right? But this man started tonight and played 35 minutes and only put up 4 shots. This is a guy that's supposed to, and of course he missed both his threes. He did make, again, that shot that kind of helped momentum kind of go towards the LA at the end of the fourth. But 35 minutes, scoring 5 points, that's a detriment to the team, especially with a team that doesn't have a lot of depth. You look at the depth on this team tonight. You had Nick Smith coming off the bench. You had Jackson Hayes. You had Dalton Knecht and Jared Vanderbilt. And none of those guys are going to go off. I wish Dalton Knecht would go off, but I don't think we're going to be seeing that anytime soon. Of course, he had a couple threes that were nice, made them, but you just can't depend on them. You can't depend on him too much. So 35 minutes, 5 points, only 4 shots for a guy that's supposed to be this energy guy, role player guy that needs to hit open shots on the regular, while Luka and LeBron are going to the basket and drawing that second guy. That's what makes these games much harder. However, LeBron showed old LeBron. Luka didn't necessarily have a good game from behind the arc, but he still shot 50% from the field. Don't like that he missed 4 free throws. That's always something that I'm really, really always paying attention to with Luka. Luka, I'm going to be a little bit harder on with free throws because he handles the ball so much. And a guy that has that great a form, I can't figure out why this guy isn't hitting 85. I'll give him 83 to 85%. That he cannot be hitting below 80. He was at 82, I think, at one point, and now he's dropped below 80. He cannot miss 4 free throws. He cannot. That is those are turnovers. So for me, when somebody like Luka misses 4 free throws out of 9 free throws, that means those are 2 turnovers. So each of the 2 misses, each of the 2 misses is a turnover to me. That's what that is. Can't do it. You can't do it, and it can't do it in games when you're playing teams that are much better than New Orleans. And that's some of the little details that I've looked at here in the last couple months. Other than that, again, Luka didn't even sort of have a good game tonight. He still dropped 30, and that's what, again, another thing the greats do. They'll not play well and still drop the numbers. He had 10 assists as well. I think he had 5 turnovers, but when you handle the ball as much as he does, sometimes that kind of par for the course. LeBron only had 1 turnover. He handled the ball pretty well. Had 8 rebounds and 8 assists. He was perfect from the line, which when LeBron is perfect from the line, it's not an accident when you start noticing his effect on the game, right? And not only that, he hit 3 of 5 from 3. So if LeBron is dropping, I'm not even going to say 30. He dropped 30 tonight. But if LeBron is dropping 40% from 3 or more, and he's hitting all his free throws and he's getting a good amount, and he's not turning the ball over, you really don't have a shot. You really are going to have a problem. You're going to have to keep up with him to do that. Yeah, so that's kind of where that is. But let me get back to some of your comments here. Hold on a second here. Stefan, I wonder how MJ and Kobe and every other player back in the day was able to play 80-plus games and get hurt less often than these soft folks playing today. So there's been some discussions on what's created the injury bug. The excuse machines say that the game has gotten faster, the possessions have gotten increased. I remember Sean Grice and I spoke about this, I think about a year ago. He had said that he had done the numbers. He had looked the numbers up in the 90s as compared to today's game. The possessions have not gone up that much. I think he said it was like 1.5 extra possessions. So it hasn't really gone up that much. Granted, at that time, there was a lot more half-court game. But then again, possessions matter, right? That's what you're saying. Are they really running as much? Shooting threes really that taxing? I think what it is, and I had sent the boys on our chat a link to soft tissue type stuff from a nutritionist or a physician. I can't remember exactly what he was, but he had mentioned about how the ACL tendon, for half the players that tear it, half the players that don't. Why did those on the other side that didn't tear it? Why were they okay? And why were the ones that did tear it? Why did they tear it? Right now, in football is a little different. If you get angled a certain way, you're going to tear that sucker, right? But in basketball, you don't get that. You're not getting tackled like a running back or like a receiver or anything like that, or you misplace your foot in a divot on a field if you're a quarterback, right? So in basketball, what is it? It's coming down to food. It's coming down to your diet. It's coming down to your ability to prepare your body for certain things. And maybe the change in styles of play is not allowing the body to be flexible enough to sustain these issues. All that is there, and I'm sure there's some truth to it. And I think a lot of the diets are bad. I think a lot of these guys probably don't eat well because they're already genetically skinny and lean and all that, right? So they feel like, I'm just going to eat whatever I want. A lot of guys are not going to eat well, right? And I think that plays a factor in it. I also think that food has gotten worse I think what's happened in at least in America the last 30 years, and I think the food is destroying the body. It's destroying recovery. It's destroying a lot of things. Plus, I think there's also more stress than ever before, believe it or not, in the world. So you had stress, you had maybe a bad diet. And again, they had bad diets back in the day too. Jordan used to eat McDonald's all the time. Kobe, he's on record talking about eating bad foods until he finally had to change his ways because he was getting injured a lot. He just played through it, right? So the combination of all that stuff that I think that definitely the food has gotten worse in terms of how they make it. When you look at Gatorade in the 80s, the ingredients that they put in Gatorade, and again, this might be a lie too. I don't know, but I always ask myself, is this a lie? Why would they lie about something like this? It doesn't make sense. And if they did, I think Gatorade would be like, hey man, you're lying, and you'd find out about it, right? But Gatorade used to have 4 different ingredients to make Gatorade. And I remember Gatorade when I was a kid. I used to drink them in those glasses, those glass Gatorades. Tasted amazing, right? And then later it became 400 different ingredients in a plastic container. And while it still tasted good, apparently there's a lot more crap in there, right? And imagine that with meats and vegetables and all that stuff. So you add all that in. You add the soft mentality. You add the fact that these guys are getting paid a lot of money. You add the fact that the owners have softened these guys up because they're worried about their investments. And then the coaches have to bow down to that. And then you also factor into the pussy-ass fans that are always crying every 5 minutes when they see somebody limping a little bit. Hey, get him out, get him out. And again, I'm going to have to throw my friend Gerald Glassford under the bus. Anytime there's 5 minutes left in a game and it's a blowout, all that guy ever does is yap about, get this guy out, get this guy out, get this guy out. Well, if you constantly do that, if you're constantly always worried about getting injured, guess what happens? You will manifest yourself getting injured. That's just what it is. And yeah, it does happen. It does become a neglect thing when it happens. But it's just like calling the right play and it works. And if you call that good play and it doesn't work, now you're an idiot. So what are you going to do? Yeah, I figured you'd respond to that, you bum. But it's the truth, though. Let's see here. NV2134. I don't think I've ever seen NV here. Good name, by the way. Kind of play on words there. Oh, thank God Gerald isn't here, so we don't have to listen to that old kook. See, Gerald, it's not just me. See, NV2134 thinks you're a kook. And I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to agree with him. Sorry. LOL, agree with everything Joe just said, but I'd probably put puss-ass fans at the top and society's weak-minded mentality in general. Yeah, that plays a factor in all this. And how it's combated, though, is it's combated with, oh, you're a boomer. Oh, you're a grumpy old person. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that, right? And that's, again, the excuse machine. I've been talking about the excuse machine for a while now, especially with the Dodgers winning the last few years. It's funny how the narrative goes from chokers to now winning, and now they're winning because they're spending money, as if they weren't spending the money before, right? In 2023, in 2022, in 2021. They're not bitching and whining about spending money when those years were going on and they were losing in the NLCS or losing in the first round, right? No one was bitching then. The second you start to win, oh, it's the money. Oh, it's the money. At least say, hey, as soon as they got Ohtani, that's when they start winning championships. As soon as they got Yamamoto, they start winning championships, right? Well, what are you going to do? What do you want them to do? Not try to win? Oh, you don't want to try to also make a profit? So that $700 million contract, allegedly, for Mr. Shohei Ohtani, which, by the way, technically 680 of it hasn't been paid yet. $680 million of that money is sitting in an escrow account. And by the way, that was not the Dodgers asking to do that. That was Shohei Ohtani's team. Why? Because Shohei wanted to win. Shohei wanted to win. Look what his return is. Look, he was in Anaheim for 6 years. Didn't sniff one playoff game. One. Look at the decision he made to win. That should be up here when you talk about greatness. When you talk about someone who wants to win, that doesn't look at money as the only solution, right? He wanted to win, came to LA, the real LA, and won 2 championships out of 2 tries already. He's got 8 more to go. So, anyways, I want to get back to basketball here. Let's see here. JY, was Trey Murphy auditioning for Lakers today? I'm just saying, Joe. Yeah, he may have, and he made it much harder for the Lakers to get him. So you have a guy here who is a arguably, again, that's the word you have to use these days, and allegedly, arguably one of the best 3-and-D players, right? It's just that he's not known in the NBA as much, except for guys like us who watch the NBA. It's not really like a marquee name for that, right? He's not a marquee name. He's in New Orleans in the middle of nowhere. No one really cares, right? Other than people like us. Trey Murphy the third can drop 30-plus points like he did tonight and play good defense, and he's young and everything you'd want to put with the team that the Lakers have right now. The problem is there ain't a chance in hell he ain't going to cost you at least a couple of first-round picks and a really good player. That's just what it is. I don't see any reason why New Orleans would let him go. That's not the guy you let go. New Orleans would want to get rid of Zion because I think you can get more for Zion because there will be a team out there will probably give it a little bit of a chance. Hey, let's see if we can change this guy. He's in that realm. And you saw it tonight. You saw it tonight with Williamson. Man, when that guy is right, he is a freak. He is a freak. He is a 6'9" Charles Barkley with a much higher spring and much more explosive. And if you guys see tape of Charles Barkley in his prime, that man was a freak. He's a freakish athlete for a guy that was shaped like a bowling ball. And Zion is vertically better and has a fast twitch response that's even better than Charles. The problem is can't stay healthy, and his focus I think is too much on the women and food, which we all have fallen into that space. But when you're getting paid the money he's getting paid, why don't you have all three? Like, do some work, fulfill that career, man. You have the talent to be a Hall of Fame player. Make it work, man. You can still have the women and the food. Just put in the work. See here. I'd love to see Zion get off that garbage team. I just don't trust him to stay healthy, though. Give a R. I think you're onto something, Nick. Best league? Yeah. I think there's something there. I think there's something there. Now, if you were to make that trade, how does that benefit New Orleans? Why would New Orleans make that trade? Why would you trade Trey Murphy III for Austin Reeves? Because we obviously know that we feel that Trey Murphy is probably a better player, even though AR has shown amazing skill sets, dropping 50, dropping 40. Until he got injured, there was some talk that he might be an all-star. But why would New Orleans make that trade? I think that's a question you want to ask yourself. I'm gonna go with I don't think that's gonna happen unless New Orleans wants to get out of the money that they're paying him. But why? Why would they do that? These are the questions you have to ask yourself. It's the DeJounte Murrays that they don't want on the team. That's the guys that aren't really doing anything. And they already gave up their first-round pick. Atlanta has their first pick, so now they're screwed even more. How are they going to replace Trey Murphy? Is AR enough? Is that going to start getting them into that playoff area, especially in the West, I don't see it. I don't see it. So I believe if Trey Murphy was to be an option, I think they would need to get somebody that's of equal value, and they would still probably want to get some kind of draft capital from it, because you're talking about a guy who is the perfect basketball physique, the perfect skill set for today's basketball, and he's 25 years old. I mean, this guy is in his as prime as you can start getting into your prime right now. So I don't know if that's ever going to work. I just don't know. The more realistic acquisition would have likely have been Herb Jones. His contract is much friendlier, and he's somewhat offensively challenged, but he's good on defense. So I would be pretty sure that if they had offered AR for a Herb Jones, and then you start talking about maybe getting something from them in terms of maybe a draft capital, maybe that might work. At least you could solidify the defensive side, right? Is it enough though with just LeBron and Luka on the offensive side? Probably not. The Lakers need a third scorer who can play defense. That's really what they need. They need Trey Murphy. And until they get that guy, and if you have LeBron and Luka, and this whole thing is not going to look this way anyways in about 4 months, right? I don't see LeBron coming back unless they win it all, which is going to be very, very minimal percentages, right? So what is it? What is it? And you talk about depth, Jay. The NBA has already made it too difficult for you to have depth if you're not drafting well. Depth has to come from the draft. That's why we've been adamant lately. We don't want to give up those first-round picks anymore, and they're going to get 2 more at the end of the year. I am tired of giving up draft picks. Draft picks in this current landscape in the NBA, in this current landscape, you have to have draft picks because money is going to matter now. Money is going to matter now more than ever. You can't just eat money anymore in a luxury tax and just sign your own people. You can't. You cannot. You can't. Once you get over that second apron, you're toast. It's a pseudo hard cap. So they have to build this team by getting really realistically, they're going to need to get a second guy that is viable. Maybe not Giannis when he was 26, but definitely Giannis at 32, who likely will have at least a 2 or 3 year window there where he can still be Giannis, especially with Luka. And then you would need some kind of a miracle where LeBron takes a $10 million a year contract this summer if he indeed wanted to stay. Then things can get interesting. And then now you can draft somebody in this next draft, hopefully with some skill sets that they can start doing stuff. But then again, guys, rookie guys don't do well typically. It's very rare that they're going to come out Edgecombe's and obviously the flags. Even those guys, even though they show moments, even though one of them will win a rookie of the year, basketball is just too hard to create that huge effect the first year or two. It's usually going to be for that kind of like caliber player where he's going to really, really like make not an effort. Sorry, I was thinking an effect. They usually like are in that sweet spot 3-4 years, especially if they're getting picked in the mid-teens area, which is where likely the Lakers will pick. If they keep winning, it probably will be in the 20s, which is going to make it even more difficult. It's hard. It's hard, and you have to make sure that you draft well too. The Lakers, unfortunately, have not done that. They have been horrible. Actually, the last 2 first-round picks have been duds. And imagine this, guys. Imagine. I'm not going to go through the names. I'll leave that for Gerald to talk about whenever we do a show. But you're talking about 2 first-round picks the last 2 times they've had it, and they've both been One has been a massive bust, and one is on his way to be a bust. Imagine if those two picks were viable players, guys that could play some defense and hit an occasional shot when you need to. Imagine the depth now. Imagine that. And that's the frustrating part there. That's where the irritation and the anger comes from when we talk about the Genies and the Robs. How much different would this team be if they actually hit on those two first-round picks? It would be all this depth stuff. You're talking about a team that can hold 15 players, right? Usually it's less than that in terms of who's going to play. Imagine, let's say 10 players if you're lucky, right? But it's really 8. Now imagine if 2 of those 8 are good picks, contributors. It changes the whole dynamic of the team. The depth is there. You're not worried about guys sitting. You're not worried about the Vanderbilts playing like bozos. You're not worried about Connect not hitting shots. You're not worried about any of that. And then maybe when you're getting a free agent, you're not having to worry about getting somebody that you have to hope that plays that position. Now you can go, okay, well, let's just get this sniper here. At least he can come in and hit shots no matter what. He might not be good on defense, but we know he can hit shots in certain lineups that does have defense because you picked well in the draft, and then maybe you got lucky and got another player in free agency the year before. Like, that's how this stuff gets built. And that's something that's been missing. That's what's been missing with the Lakers. They haven't been able to cover those bases because they've been bombing. I mean, Jalen Hood-Schifino, we were puzzled. I don't pay attention to college basketball as much as I wish I can. But our good friend Stone Hansen did that for a living. That's what he did for years, is scout, look, analyze these guys. I can't remember where he had Hood-Schifino, but I, just based off the limited amount of information, I said, this guy should have been picked in the second round. It turned out I was wrong even then. He should have never even been drafted. That's a bad miss. You didn't even get a guy that was somewhat giving some kind of potential. And you picked him at 17. You picked him at 17. That's terrible. So here's what the Lakers have done in the last 3 drafts. Mojave King, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Bronny James, Dalton Connect, and Laishlin Aldrich. Yes, I don't know who that is either. Now, you had Max Christie in 2022. You guys all know how I feel about Max Christie. Everybody loves him except me, right? And then the year before that, Isaiah Jackson, but that one went to Indiana. Mojave King went to Indiana. So these guys have not hit in the draft and had hit. I mean, what do you consider hitting in the draft? Mo Wagner, maybe, in 2018? Would you consider that a hit, even though he didn't play for the Lakers, but he got traded? Jaden McDaniels went to Minnesota, so they picked him in 2020. DeAndre Hunter, that wasn't their pick. That was Atlanta's pick because that was part of I believe that was part of the Anthony Davis deal. When was the last time the Lakers hit in the draft? They actually have hit more on free agents. They've hit on Alex Caruso and Austin Reeves. Those are their 2 off-season acquisitions the last decade that came through. And one of those guys they let go. So, Lonzo over Tatum. That's an interesting question. Or interesting comment. That's why you don't have Magic Johnson as your player personnel guy. That's what happens because Magic, much like Jordan, much like Al Davis, especially the back half of his life, his career, they were enamored by the noise. The media noise. They were very easily manipulated by the media noise because Guys like Magic, guys like Jordan, guys like Al Davis weren't going to the senior bowls. They weren't going to the high schools. They weren't going to these places to really see who was good. And when you're not entrenched in it, when you're not spending those integral times, those in those back end areas to really see who's good or not, you're gonna miss. And that's what happened there. I don't know if Tatum would have been part of that Anthony Davis deal. I don't know how that would have played out. Maybe they would have begged for Tatum, maybe not. I don't know. Was Tatum good enough at that point to warrant that, or maybe warrant it? I don't know. But I'm not too concerned about that miss because, again, Alonzo did turn into Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis turned into a championship. So I'm not too upset about that. But from here on out, my instincts are telling me you cannot keep giving up first round picks, especially with the climate, especially with the system now, the way it is in the NBA, unless it's an absolute like barn burner of a trade where you're getting somebody or you're like, whoa, we cannot let this one slide. But for me, I'm still waiting on what the decision is going to be next year. To me, I feel like there's some time here to say, can we get what we want in the summer of 2027? Again, Donovan Mitchell, Jokic, and Giannis will have an option to opt out and become free agents that summer. Any of those guys opt out. Any of those guys opt out that summer. I will guarantee you, and the Lakers have money, guarantee you he'll be a Laker. And you cannot pass that up for making yourself feel good a year early. You cannot do that, especially when you're giving up draft capital to boot. That's kind of where I'm at. So welcome, Gerald. Drive I take was a smooth one.
Yeah, once you get past the strip, it's good. Tomorrow is going to be a mess. The first day of full CES, because that's what I was there for, a press event in advance for Consumer Electronics Show at the Bellagio. But at the Las Vegas Convention Center and the Strip tomorrow, it will be an absolute mess. It will try its best to be like it is on the 110 or the 105 in Southern California tomorrow. But outside of that, yeah, it's pretty good right now. Glad the Lakers won. Disappointed that they cannot focus against an 8-win team for 4 quarters to get themselves easy victories because of what they have lying in front of them tomorrow. A San Antonio team which lost tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. And we're not sure yet if they're going to have Wemby in the lineup or coming off the bench tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see how that goes back because he just came back to the lineup today. So we'll see how that works itself out. But again, the Lakers do get the victory. Once again, they enjoy making it close. Yes, you talked about LeBron, age 41. No one's questioning LeBron playing better than anyone his age has ever played. But going back to the greatest of all time statement, Joe, those years for Jordan up until the time he went to go play baseball, and even what you could say even after that, it's just there's still the level of dominance is still in his favor. And again, when you talk about the older generations like you and I that talk about how we think that Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, and the younger generations that think LeBron is the greatest of all time, again, if you've seen these players through the decades, there might be some even older than us, like a Laker Tom. He might think that Wilt Chamberlain is the greatest of all time. Again, it's conjecture how you see it. But again, if you saw the way he was defended and the Jordan rules, as you know, and I know what the Jordan rules were, and it was so much more physical back then, and to still see him excel at that level and go undefeated when it mattered the most, it's hard to lean away from that when it comes to MJ. And I just wanted to put that in there. I know I was driving back when you said that.
You can't measure a player by watching their highlights. You have to be there to feel what was going on when it was live. It's easy to analyze after the fact. These guys that are talking about certain plays. Oh my God, they should have called this. They should have called that. Well, the guy was standing on the other side and it's going 500 miles an hour. How is he supposed to see that in real time? It's easy for you to see it because you're sitting on your ass playing with your dick, while you're seeing 14 replays. Of course, you're gonna sit there and go, see, look what happened. Well, he was sitting over there. I've been upset at some of these refs. I'm not trying to get them off the hook here. I've been upset with some of these refs where there is a visible line where they're looking right at it and they don't call a foul, they don't call the non-foul, whatever. Then you can get on them. But again, we're talking about did you see it? It's always about did you really see it? And it's a dumb argument. It's a dumb argument because there's always an excuse. I think the thing that I noticed years ago that always made me laugh, this is before social media, but you would hear comments. So if Dan Marino, in a lot of people's view, the greatest quarterback in terms of physical talent that ever lived, and I'm not going to argue against it. There's a lot of truth to that. Aaron Rodgers is the other guy too. You can go back and forth with him and Aaron Rodgers. If Dan Marino criticizes somebody for not playing well, there were people saying, what does Dan Marino know? He's never won a championship. What do you think about that? Because he didn't win a championship, he doesn't know what he's talking about now. This guy played, right? So it doesn't matter if it's Dan Marino or some schmuck on a podcast. There's always going to be something out there that's going to try to invalidate your assessment. Even though we're saying logical shit, has nothing to do with us. Dan Marino commenting about a quarterback sucking in a big game and then getting told, oh, what do you know? You haven't won a Super Bowl. Like, there's always an excuse. There's always something. Just like how I talked about with the Dodgers. The Dodgers, when they were losing in 2021, 2022, 2020, dude, they were spending the same kind of money. Maybe not $400 million, but they were spending $300 million. So why is it now, oh, they're winning because they're spending money? When they were losing those years, it was, oh, they're choking. See, it's convenient commentary. It's convenient excuses. And that's what this all is. The excuse. Oh, well, it's because LeBron is this, or because MJ is this, or because the Lakers did this, or because the Pelicans are this. Okay, well, what? Okay, so the Pelicans aren't doing well, and they're a small market team. Why has San Antonio been able to be one of the best franchises in the last freaking 40 years? Why? They're a small market team. Matter of fact, I think they're a smaller market than New Orleans. What is it? How come Oklahoma City? Guys, Oklahoma City is in the middle of nowhere. Why are they flourishing? Oh, well, because the Clippers made a bad deal and they sent this. I'm like, well, what was it before? Presti created two dynasties. It's just that they screwed up the first one by trading Harden. They're a small market team. What is it? Always an excuse. Losers always create an excuse to fit their thoughts, their narratives. So that's usually how that plays out. And it's really a waste of it's maybe good entertainment. It's good discussion here and there, but ultimately it's a waste of time in my book.
Again, you guys just don't get it. Christie had to go as part of the package. Do you want Christie or do you want Luka? You hit Rodell. You can't pick and choose and go back in time and change things.
Why the fuck
you have
are we
to
talking
ask
about
yourself,
Max Christie?
Do you want the guy that's averages 34 points a game, or do you want the guy that averages 12 right now? Yes, he's shooting 45% from three. Great, good for him.
I can't believe we're talking about Max Christie a year after a trade.
That's crazy.
A rotational player. Because there's not just Rodell, it's someone, it's these guys together. By the way, I'm talking about at someone. I'm not just saying someone. It's someone, it's Rodell, It's several people saying, man, I wish we had Christie. Yes, I wish we had a player that is athletic, that is 3D. Yes, that's correct. But we got Luka. We got a generational superstar. I don't think you're missing the point. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. I mean, it's just I deal with all these mock trades off the air from people. And again, you want your cake and eat it too. You want to get Giannis for a second rounder. You want to get all these crazy trades, and you don't even do the research behind it. So I had one the other day, and the person he had involved in the trade coming to the Lakers is out 6 weeks with surgery. So guys, do your research. Understand. You guys need to understand. Do you want the player that's going to guarantee you 33 points a game, 8 assists or 9 assists and 8 rebounds, or actually 9 and 9 today? Absolutely a good game for Luka. LeBron helped out. DeAndre Ayton came in here and played, although it was against an 8-win team, he still played at a great level, 18 and 11 today. But what is you guys want your cake and eat it too. In a trade, things have to go both ways. And if Christie was the deal breaker and you would have offered AR instead, and the deal would have come up snake eyes on that, then we'd be stuck here with a 500 team because Christie cannot do the things Luka can do. Down the stretch of today's game, who was making the shots? It was Luka and LeBron today. You guys again, Christie would not be making the shots. Christie in the first half, in the first quarter, would be making a couple threes here and a couple threes there. He has a good game here and there, but he is a role player. He is not counted upon to service a great portion of the offense on an everyday basis. It's so ludicrous, Joe, that we have to keep on continually arguing this, John.
Don't even entertain that.
I'll tell you what it is. I've been fortunate that I've been following the NBA a little bit more than I normally do around the NBA, right? And I even got a little bit of stuff from Lakers Ball about Max Christie lately. So here's what happens to a lot of people, a lot of you that are listening right now too. I'm talking to you guys, okay? And it's not just you, it's some of my other friends as well. Okay, so Max Christie goes on a 3-game bender. He drops 25, 18, and 24, right? Mind you, they lost to Portland. They lost to the Sixers still, right? It didn't amount to shit, right? And then before those 3 games, he was dropping 9, 13, and 0, right? 0, okay? 0. He was averaging 8, 11, 9. Look, when I say I don't like Max Christie.
Well, you said also he was an NBA player, which is not true. I think he's a good, and I've always said
he's a good rotational player. To me, fine. I'll say I was wrong there, but for me, I'm not a satisfy me every 5 seconds type of guy like most people are. The people who are raised under the Instagram world, the Twitter world, and again, I'm not putting it all on Gen Z and millennials. Okay, I have seen my generation and boomers even that are sitting there on their phones like a bunch of fucking zombies. So I'm not just blaming that. It's just that's all you guys know. At least we, the generations before the millennials, at least we have history of not sitting there like a bunch of fucking idiots, just looking at this and going, okay, Max Christie has 3 amazing games. Why did we trade him? Like, right. Your brain is in your ass at that point. Like, seriously. What does that guy do? What do those numbers mean? I just told you. He played 3 really good games, probably his best 3-game stretch after 5 fucking years in the NBA, by the way. Okay, it took him 5 years. So what were the Lakers supposed to do? Wait 5 years, 6 years, 7 years for this guy to be amazing?
We got Luka.
So at the end of the day, by the way,
well, hold on, let me just say this. Rodell, you're an idiot because they were in different drafts. He's saying Christie is better than Pods, Whitmore, and a bunch of first-round picks. They were in different drafts.
I'm saying you guys were wrong of Christie, Robert Ory, Rick Fox, and D. Fish were role players. Man,
I'm not even
been here for a while, but he got worse.
I wasn't wrong on Christie. I said he was a good
Why
rotation
are you
player.
putting Ori, Rick Fox, and D. Fish in that category?
He was a
players.
rotational player.
There's a difference between role players around Shaq and Kobe versus role players around a aging LeBron and a broken Anthony Davis.
Joe, let me ask you a quick question. Okay, the backcourt currently for Dallas is Cooper Flagg at the shooting guard and Max Christie at the other guard position. They don't really have I guess they're not even starting a point guard at the moment. So let's just say magically Kyrie Irving came back to the lineup. Who is the first guy that's going back to the bench in that lineup between Marshall, Gafford, Davis, Flagg, and Christie?
Christie.
There you go. It's a rotational player. Understand, Rodell, I know your experience. I've seen your letters. I've seen your many emails to us. Again, understand the concept of what a rotational player is, and that's what he is. He is. He's not a star. He's not at the level yet. And so stop trying to you've been trying to prop him up for years, and you have failed. You have failed. He's on a good streak. He's shooting well, but he's still a 12-point a game player this season, which means he is a rotational player. So stop dwelling on the past. You have a future now with a superstar in Luka. You have a team right now that's competing for a top 4 spot in the Western Conference. With a victory tomorrow, they might be even in second place in a Western Conference. I have to take a look just to make sure that that's the case. But you guys are missing the entire point of what our conversation is about because you dwell on the past. Well, we should have traded AR instead of Christie, blah, 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 blah. Might not got a deal done when we would have never known, and we'd still be stuck with Christie and Davis, and we might have a 500 team because Davis is out half the time with a groin injury. That's the point I'm trying to make. But John Costa from Lakers Corner, good to have you here, my friend.
What's up, brothers? That was unexpected after a cool Lakers win. Coming in here
so
back
much.
Christie. Come on, guys.
It so much. They just hold on to it. It's just sad. It's sad. I feel sorry for them. It's just sad. Okay, I hold on to the Ivica Zubac deal, but good God, I don't even hold on to it that bad like you guys do.
Let go of it. We got Luka Doncic. But let's talk about this game.
Now,
though,
if we trade for him back and give up a couple first-round picks this summer for Ivica Zubac, then I'll be super pissed. But that's beside the point.
But we got freaking Luka Doncic, and life is good. So
they don't think so. They want Christie back.
You know what? That's totally fine. They just like how Joe said yesterday, man. I'll do the other finger. They could on this, man. That was funny. No, that was yesterday. That was the other day. But anyway, guys,
they're also dwelling on Joe's statements about Christie as well. They're saying that
me and Joe said the same thing. Me and Joe both said that he was not an NBA player. Sure. Hey, we were wrong looking back at it, but at the time he was not at the caliber of an NBA player, physique wise, confident wise, talent wise. Come on, guys. I don't even want to keep talking about this guy. Why are we talking about Max?
Well, again, if they don't look at I talk about context a lot. It's much easier to score points in an area where there's no pressure to win right now in Dallas because Anthony Davis is hurt every other game. Kyrie's not going to be back, probably not this year even. Even if he does come back, it's going to be minimal. They're out of the playoffs. There's no pressure. So the argument is futile. You're not factoring in circumstances. You're not factoring in location. Pressure matters. It's easy when there's no pressure. Remember Al Jefferson, Gerald?
Yes.
That's a classic.
This is before the KG trade. Al Jefferson, I remember I used to say, is the most non-effective stat guy I had seen at that time. He would drop 20 and 10, right?
He got his stats. I will give you that.
He got his stats, but they didn't win dick in Boston. Nothing. And I know it sounds weird that was there any pressure in Boston? For those younglings here, we're talking a while ago, right? We're talking almost 20 years ago. Technically, really, it is 20 years ago now. You look at that time, Boston they were in a huge drought. After Reggie Lewis died, obviously Len Bias before him, after that, they were toast in the mid-90s, late 90s. They had a little bit of a run in 2002 when they lost to the Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals. But other than that, they were not – they were the old Celtics team. They were like the Knicks for 25 years, basically for 20 years. Yes, they had a huge history. Yes, it's Boston, big city, whatever. But they were nothing. No one expected anything from that team. And that's what that was. Al Jefferson was that guy. And he always was that guy. He went to Minnesota. He had some stats, and it still was useless in terms of winning. So if you watch baseball now, you're seeing these guys that we're talking about now about who's going into the Hall of Fame, right? So I was puzzled, right? Why is Scott Rowland in the Hall of Fame? Gerald's talking about Steve Garvey. Why isn't he in the Hall of Fame? And then I started thinking, I'm like, what is going on here? Why is Scott Rowland in the Hall of Fame? Why is Tim Raines in the Hall of Fame? And Steve Garvey's not in the Hall of Fame. Steve Garvey's a MVP. He's a champion. Right. He
consecutive game streak.
Dale Murphy is a back-to-back MVP. Don Mattingly was, and no one argues this, for 6 years in the 80s was the best player in the majors. There was no argument at the time. He was the best. Donnie Baseball, you don't get that kind of nickname unless you're that good, especially in New York, especially when you're dealing with Mr. Steinbrenner at the time, and he always got up. Dude, they did a Simpsons episode because of the mustache. Everyone in New York was on Mattingly's side because Mattingly he was like Joe Montana, but baseball. Don Mattingly has always been a cool dude. Always been cool. This is who he is. It's his personality, and people gravitate to it. The thing is, I started listening. Wins over replacement. Wins. And then I started looking at Scott Rowland, Tim Raines, all the guys that have made the Hall of Fame that made me scratch my head lately. Right? And I'm going, oh, that's what they're basing this shit on now.
They are. Yep. That's
that, because his was high. Scott Rowland was high. Tim Raines was high. So I'm like, all right, this is what they're doing now.
They don't look at resumes. They just
no. So now let's use the NBA as the basketball version, right, of that. They don't really have a war. I think basketball is a little easier to identify because baseball is too individualized. When I hear things like, oh, they did this to Bonds and they did this to Shohei, especially lately with Shohei, you guys will know. I'm like, guys, the best player on a baseball team only has one chance to do something every 9 at bats. And if that team has a really good pitcher, barring the playoffs, like you saw with Yamamoto, where he can play the next day or whatever, right? These guys can't pitch, but every 5 days. They're not pitching every day, right? The best player on a team only has 4, maybe 5 chances to do something a game. So now imagine this. Imagine Michael Jordan. Imagine Tom Brady only playing in 4 possessions a game versus every possession. It's ludicrous, right? That doesn't work in basketball, but that's the point. Point is, that's how they have to factor that in that sport. In basketball, it comes down to you look at somebody like AI. You look at somebody like Reggie Miller. AI was a short player, right? But his game was so astronomically effective to the point where his teams were winning and going to the finals. Reggie, same thing, always in big games, always went to the finals. It's like that's how you judge the basketball player. If you're getting 20 and 10, or you're occasionally getting 24 points, 25 points, like your all-star want to be Mr. Max Christie, yet you're losing to Portland. What does that mean at the end of the day? His numbers don't mean shit, guys. That factors into our, well, I don't think this is going to work, because it won't work. It won't work with this team, and it didn't. Otherwise, they wouldn't have sent them out. By the way, it's reported that Dallas asked for AR. And Rob likely said, no. We're not trading AR. You can have Max Christie. And then they took Max.
Anyway, we got the win.
Yes, we got the win, by the way.
Oh,
Before I
Joey,
get
froze
into
on it.
DeAndre Ayton, guys, real quick, I wanted to put something there out there. Drip Show says we got to cover, because he did his research and he said in a super chat, we need to trade for Devin George and Chris Kaman, who's lying on the bench right now. A guaranteed championship. Literally
Wow.
lying on the bench. Chris Kaman.
I remember those were some dark days to be Lakers fans when Chris Kaman did that.
Absolutely.
Those are some dark days. Joe, you're freezing in and out on us, man. I need to do.
Yeah, that's what happens when I'm on the same. Whenever I'm on the same login, I'm gonna come back out away from the login. So I'll be back.
No worries. Again, hopefully it'll stay and will hold. John.
Yes, I'm good. I'm right here, brother.
Yeah, tell us about DeAndre Ayton, because 18, 11, and 2. I mean, yeah, it is against New Orleans. Queen is not the, how should I say, defensive stalwart. Rookie, great offensive rookie. You saw him tonight, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. This guy can really manipulate an offense from the center. He could be that next Alfred Sengun, like a poor man's Alfred Sengun, really poor man's Nikola Jokic, because you can run an offense through him. The problem is defensively, because he's smaller, he needs a rim protector right beside him, and Zion is not that guy, because Zion is despite his athletic gifts, he's 6'7". So yeah, that's the problem right there. So DeAndre did have his way with the height differential tonight, 18-11. I was talking with Pinty, one of my, going back and forth over the past couple of days off the air, and he was talking about what we should commit to with DeAndre Ayton. I am not 100% sold on DeAndre, because he has steered and been the anchor of a 26 rated defense in the NBA. So while it looks good against, and they hold New Orleans to 103 today, for the other so many games a year, it hasn't been the greatest, but he's been a good lob threat. It's created a kind of chemistry with Luka. But where would you place him? If you said of all the starting centers in the league, where would you place him? Because I would put him about 15th to 20th on my list right now.
It just depends on the night, because so that's the thing about DeAndre Ayton. He's not
he disappears.
He disappears a lot, and that was my problem with him being like, oh, I want the ball more. Where it's like, brother, if you want the ball more, I'm gonna need you to be a little bit more consistent with your game. And I totally understand, right? Like growing up playing basketball, number one thing I knew was feed the big man, feed big fella, always make sure big fella, it feels like he's in the game. But big fella, I need you to do your part so that I can consistently feed you.
Now
the
you
ball.
know why he's burned 2 bridges already. In
right?
Phoenix,
you know what
Portland.
I'm saying? Right. So that's my thing. Look, I'm all for feeding the big fella as a guard. There's nothing more than I love than seeing my big score. Love it, right? But at the same time, there's some prerequisites that you got to do sometimes. And when there's games when we're in the third, fourth quarter and he has 1-2 rebounds, brother, you're not filling those prerequisites that I need you to fill before I'm dumping you the ball off for you to get your little floats off, get your finishes around the hoop. Like these are things that you got to have on lock, right? Like cleaning the glass. That's the number one thing. That's got to be your number one priority before you worrying about touching the ball and getting your 18 points, whatever. I need you to worry about cleaning the glass. Now,
and the defensive issues are not all his fault. I'm not trying to put it all at his feet, but
not at all. It's just for us, Gerald. We were used to seeing Anthony Davis anchor that defense. When we're used to seeing somebody like Anthony Davis anchor the defense, and then you switch to a DeAndre Ayton, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's tough. Now,
what's tougher is if you look, okay, this past weekend we saw him go against Triple J a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Triple J did the number on him in both those games. You know, he Triple J also fouled out and whatnot, almost fouled out 5, that's who he is. But offensively, you see the gifts that Triple J possesses. Guess what? DeAndre Ayton was the number 1 pick in that draft, and Triple J was number 4.
Come on.
So, after Luka. So, and it just before Trey. So, who is developed into the player that's whether you argue he's a max player, and if you argue that he's not a max player, Triple J, I would probably say yes, but still a highly compensated player that can average 22, 10, and 2 blocks a game, and stretch it out from 3 to get you 35, 40% from 3, as opposed to what DeAndre Ayton does. It's no question who that better player has developed into from that starting point.
100%. I mean, Triple J is definitely the better player of the two. But DeAndre Ayton, yeah, like we said,
he was the number 1 pick.
Was the number 1 pick. But to my original point though, Gerald, look, like the game today, cool. I love to see 18 points, 11 rebounds, but I think it's more even what Rodell said earlier in the chat. I think this win and this stats kind of like fool's gold. It's like, cool, there we go. We beat the Pelicans. It's like taking candy from a baby's mouth. It's nothing impressive, right? So to me, cool, love to see it. But my thing is, Gerald, and like I told you, I cannot have DeAndre Ayton coming out telling the press and telling the people, I need more touches when there's nights when we're in the second half of the game and my dog has 2-3 rebounds. Because like I said, as the big man, I'm all for feeding the big man. I'm all for keeping big fella happy. But big fella, you got to take care of your business down low and cleaning the glass. And there's nights where he's not doing that. On a night like tonight, we'll take it, 18 and 11. But we're not looking. The barometer isn't how do we play against the Pelicans. So. Cool.
It is tomorrow, though.
Right? It is tomorrow, right? It is tomorrow. So let's see if he do the same type of energy. And I think this is a great test. I love that you said that, Gerald, because he's talking about he want more looks, right? He want to feel more involved. He want the ball more. Okay, brother. Let's see if you handle your side of the rock and what we brought you here to do. And if you do, the rock will naturally gravitate to you. Couldn't look for the word.
Because Joe, well, let me put it this, John.
Can I speak on something real quick? Can I speak on something real quick? I want to speak on this because I just think it's funny because you guys remember less than 72 hours ago, this chat, and make sure my daughter's not outside, on my dick about Jake LaRavia. Just, Jake LaRavia and Jake LaRavia this. And I told y'all, Gerald, and I told y'all, and what did I say? I gave Jake LaRavia his credit when he played with confidence. I gave Jake LaRavia the praise when he deserved the praise, when he was doing everything right, when he was playing with confidence, when he had 24 points the other day, when he had 21. But what did I tell you though, Gerald? My problem with this guy is the confidence. It's that he goes from one game of 24 to the next game 5. And before I even hear anyone say like, oh, he's just having one bad game. No, it's far more than one bad game. And it's not even just the 5 points, you guys. Can we look at basketball more than just numbers? Can we look at the fact that it's not just black and white? He looked non-existent out there. Literally non-existent. I'm going to be honest with you guys, until he got that rebound and that little putback that he had over Zion, you would have thought we was playing 4-on-5 and Jake LaRavia just wasn't there. And most people watching the game that actually know what they was watching are talking about the same thing. Today, guys, I just want to give y'all a little bit of context. He had 5 points. Okay, you can't always have 24. You're not a star player, but brother, you took 2 3-pointers. That is the same amount of 3-pointers that Nick Smith Jr., a motherfucking two-way player, took. And you know what? Nick Smith Jr. played 9 minutes. Jake LaRavia played 34 and started. And he took the same amount of shots. And we're asking him, and again, I'm not asking him to put 24 every single night, but I'm asking him to shoot with confidence every single night. And don't shy into that little he's shy. He looks like he's a kid that like got chewed out by his parent. Now he doesn't have no confidence. That's how he looks from game to game. I need him to keep that confidence level at the same, right? If you don't believe in yourself, brother, I guarantee the defense is not going to believe in you. You're not taking that shot. Again, you don't need to knock it down every time, but you got to be able to shoot that shot every time. You know how many shots he passed up this game? I saw him so many times. Up fake, dribble, give that shit up. Come on, Jake. Go up with it. You got to keep the defense honest. That's my little Jake the Ravier rant. But just wanted to say that because, and it's funny because everybody that was crying on my dick the
It's
other
all
day.
quiet. It's crickets right now.
Quiet. Very quiet now. Very quiet. But it is what it is, though, Gerald. I love being right. I'll just say that.
He's a rotational player. And
Which
as
I
with
fucking
Christie,
said, though, that's what I said.
as with Christie, he's going to have his games where he's all over the place. One day it looks to look good, 25 points. The next game it could be 0, just like Christie, just like Laravia. He's had a donut this year. What's like last month? He had a donut. So again, these rotational guys, for the most part, they're just going to be all over the map. The thing is, can you find some consistent ones that 4 out of 5 games give you double figures and good scoring? And someone mentioned, Joe, that do you believe in Jared Vanderbilt's 37.5% shooting? He was 0 of 1 today from behind the arc. He's a career 30.5% shooter. I very rarely do you see an Aaron Gordon-esque type turnaround like we did last season in Denver, where Aaron Gordon just, he's like a career 33% shooter or whatnot. And then he shoots like an obscene 42% or 45% for the entire season. It's going to take the entire season for me to go ahead and believe that Jared Vanderbilt is a consistent 3-point shooter, to be honest with you guys, because I go back, Joe, to what I said to Laker Tom about Anthony Davis, when Anthony Davis said, I want Anthony Davis to shoot all threes. And the coaches were like, yeah, we want Anthony Davis to shoot nothing but threes. And then I said, he's a 29% shooter. What is the more likely outcome to happen? And sure enough, by the time he was traded, he was under 30%. So I'll say again, this team is who it is, but the question is tomorrow, Joe, we have a very important game. San Antonio, we're actually a game behind San Antonio. If we win, we tie San Antonio for second place in the West. If we lose, we could be as far back as 6th. That's what's on the line in tomorrow's game in San Antonio, Joe.
Seeding right now isn't really a concern because it's
Elite ball knowledge, right there.
it's leveled. It's too leveled anyways across the board. San Antonio lost. Oklahoma City's 6-6 the last 12 games.
I think so. Yeah.
Houston barely beat Phoenix on a last second shot. The back and forth in my own head on this is probably needing to stop at this point, regardless if they make a deal at the deadline or not. You have to go into this end of the season, going into the playoffs, waiting this out. As good as Oklahoma City can be, they're not. They even though they won last year, even though they came out the gates well this year, they're not a scary team. They may not match up well against Lakers. Might not be able to match up against Houston, Oklahoma City, all these athletically gifted teams. Sure, yes, you're right. They might lose every game in the regular season then. But my question to you is, and it's the question we've been asking to everyone. I say you as in the audience, everybody. What happens if one of those guys goes down? That's how close this thing is now, guys. If Sengun goes down, he already went down. He's going to be gone for 2 weeks. If Sengun goes down in the playoffs, that changes the entire dynamic of Houston. If
SGA goes down,
but that's a big one. So let's not go with that one on that one. Let's say, what if the better Jalen Williams goes down?
J-Dub.
Right? Because they have 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
What if he goes down? Like he can't play anymore in the playoffs. What happens then?
I mean, he wasn't playing. He hasn't been playing.
He wasn't playing, but the pressure of those games versus a regular season game is different. As good as Oklahoma City, they had one of the highest point differentials last year, Gerald, and they were having one this year. They were on record. They were going to have the best one ever. if a couple things go a certain way, Denver almost took him out. And of course, Indiana was this close to taking him out. That's the margin of error, is that one player, a one play that can change the dynamic of a series and make you a champion. So you cannot look at this anymore like we used to. It's over, at least for right now. I'm looking at this season as I'm going to try to gauge every game as best as I can. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the good stuff. We'll talk about the bad stuff. We'll overreact to certain things. We'll underreact to certain things. Morons will come on the show and tell us we needed Alex Caruso for the 50th time. Oh, why did we choose
Luka Doncic over Max Christie? Why'd you do that?
Why did you trade Max Christie? Not realizing how stupid that question is. It's a free-for-all in this league. And imagine this. Let's say the Lakers get lucky and they play Detroit in the finals.
Oh, wow. What an ideal matchup.
You think those guys in Detroit, do you think they're going to play as well as they played the last time? Especially if LeBron is on and Luka does what Luka does?
Playoff basketball where the game slows down.
Basketball's different, man. It is
The game
so
slows down, becomes
different.
a game. Come on, they can't stay.
And that is a reality, guys. That is a reality. If any of the things I just said happen, Wembyama's not staying healthy, guys. He's not staying healthy. And that's always there. And if a Laker fan like myself is thinking it, what do you think he's thinking? What do you think the organization's thinking? What do you think of the fan base thinking? It's always there lingering, right? It might not be Brandon Roy or Greg Oden worry, but it's a worry because if he gets another blood clot in March, they're jacked. They ain't winning shit without him, right? And that's normal. That's how it is in the NBA. One major guy will cost you a run. So you have San Antonio kind of teetering. Houston, young, up and coming. Yeah, they have Durant, but Durant is old. He's got to go play another 4 months to get to where he needs to go to. And then he's got to get another month in if he wants to win a championship. That's a lot. There's a lot of variables there. Oklahoma City has done it. They're experienced, but they have a history of not staying healthy too. Chet Holmgren is not always healthy. J-Dub is not. J-Dub1 is not always healthy. They have depth, but what does depth mean in those big games when you have LeBron and Luka on the other side and they can ball? Now, my thing is, this is where it's going to be important. Lakers are going to have no margin of error. Zero. That means everybody's going to need to be available by the end of the year, and they still probably need at least one more guy at the deadline, which I don't know what the hell's going to happen there. However, in all of that, LeBron has to be who he was tonight, and he's been the last week. He has to be the second best player, and that might not even work. He might need to be even one with Luka. One thing that I will say to calm your guys' asses a little bit, why are you not as hard on Luka? You know why I'm not?
You always get accused of that.
Right. Why am I not derogatory towards Luka for his deficiencies? Number one, the issues that this team has had, and I've said this I don't know how many times because people don't fucking listen, okay? I'm going to see if they'll listen this time. We've had these fucking problems before Luka was here. So what do you want me to say? What do you want me to do? Harp on something that's not... Okay, I want Allen Iverson to be 6'7". Is it going to happen in his prime? No! Luka is not going to be Gary Payton. Get over it. Get on with your life. We've had problems in LA before Luka was a Laker. I am not going to blame him for the same shit that this team has had when he wasn't here. And now he's here. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Come on, Joe.
Does it make sense? Are you interpreting what I'm saying correctly?
No.
Because if you're not
gonna.
I feel sorry for your existence in the real world.
They're not gonna, Joe. You know how many times we've gotten
Wake
shit off
up.
our chest? They don't listen.
Because they want to believe what they want to believe. And a lot of the reasons why we have problems in this world is because people want to believe what they want to believe despite the lack of evidence and the bullshit that you see in general.
They got selective hearing, Joe. That's it.
You want to believe what you want to believe? You're entitled to it, especially here in the United States. But don't get pissed off when we call you stupid. Because you are. I'm not going to sit here and harp on this, okay? Luka Doncic is a player in the NBA dropping 34, 8-8 a game.
Leading the league in scoring.
His team is 23-11. What do you want me to say? He's got to be he's got to win defensive player of the year. He's got to play better defense. He's got to do this. He got to do that. Well, okay, keep wanting at things. I want $1 billion. How about that? Am I going to get it? No, ever. I will never get $1 billion. Maybe $1 million, but not $1 billion.
Don't say it. Don't say never. Don't say never.
Well, we're trying to be realistic here.
We're trying to be realistic, but hey, brother.
Millionaires are lottery winners that worked for it typically or fuck somebody else over it. Right. So
some property rockets.
I'm trying to get to a point that the reality is that it's not likely. It's not going to happen. It could happen, but it's not. But
everything would have to go right.
I'm just put a button on this. I'm digressing here a little bit.
Going in circles.
This team has no margin of error because their team isn't equipped around the main guy. Imagine building a team around Kobe Bryant where Chris Mim is the center, Smush Parker is the point guard, and Kwame Brown is your power forward. How did that go in the end? What did you want Kobe to do? Block shots too? Did you want him to cover the point guards? And he did all that, by the way, folks. He did do that because that was Kobe. Problem is he couldn't win.
Come on.
So this team is not set up for Luka Doncic. They sort of almost got it together in Dallas, but then he got traded.
They had it together in Dallas. They had it together.
Building it, right? Right? They were building Gafford, PJ Washington.
Defenders who can go defend for Luka. Bigs who can run the pick and roll.
These guys were together for like a month and a half.
Right.
What do you want? And he took them to the finals. A rookie center. He didn't play, he didn't start, but he was an integral part of the team, right? But he's a rookie. What do you want him to do? Lively wasn't going to be that guy you wanted him to be, no matter how much you wanted him. Anyways, point is, they were building that team to work around Luka's game, but it didn't last. Now the Lakers have to do it. They don't have it this year. They could win it. They could win it because of how even the NBA is right now and how injury prone a lot of these teams are. But it's not likely. But here's how it can work. Number one, the Lakers have no margin of error. If they lose DeAndre Ayton, if they lose a Austin Reeves, they're done. That's it. Even as you saw what happened when they didn't have a center last year. If they lose DeAndre Ayton, they're fucked. They have no one that can play the center position now again.
And we might even still be fucked with DeAndre Ayton.
If they don't get somebody at the deadline, that now it's even more because now everyone's going to have to play well. LaRavia can't play the way he played tonight. Don't connect. I'm not just going to. He's done. They gave Vincent useless. But Jackson Hayes gets exposed. Vanderbilt's going to get exposed. So now what are you going to do? Now you have the LaRavia. You have LeBron. You have Luka. You have AR. You have DeAndre Ayton. You have Marcus Smart. Those are that's going to be your six. You're going to have to go in the battle with those six on a regular basis when it matters in the playoffs. Rui, I guess, sure, if he's there, he may help. He didn't have a bad playoff last year, but what did it mean at the end? A 4-1 defeat, right? So the Lakers have no margin of error. They don't have the assets to go and get somebody at the deadline that would really tip them over. It may help, but then at what cost? They are not. I would not advise them to trade a first-round pick in this offseason, in this trade deadline. Absolutely not. You cannot risk any more first-round picks in today's NBA. It's over. That day is over. The only way you would do it is if some miracle happens and some star wants to come to LA, or some player like a Trey Murphy. They're like, all right, we'll give you Trey Murphy. Give us a first pick and give us some expiring contracts.
Draft day, Lakers have for just one day only 3 number ones. So if a star becomes available, Joe, it would have to be on draft.
And that's fine. However, you guys have heard me say this. Are you really going to risk being that team again that's top heavy with no depth when you can just wait one more year? Because I feel very confident. I'm pretty confident that one of the 3 names I've named that have an option, the 3 stars that I have on my book, 3 stars that have the option to opt out at the end of the 2027 season. That is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Did I say that right? That's the first time I said it when I'm in the zone.
Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo?
Okay, Giannis.
Giannis.
To say Giannis.
Jokic, and Mitchell.
Hey, Joe, can I tell you something? A lot of people have said that Luka would never come to the Lakers. And I'm not saying I was out here saying Luka would come to the Lakers, but jokingly you would say it, right? If it can happen, it can happen with Giannis. I'm going to be honest. Again, the only way it can happen is if a Giannis is just like the Anthony Davis situation, demands it. He's like, yo, I want to be in LA and only LA. And Milwaukee, you better make it happen. And now Milwaukee's got their hands tied because now they can't really do anything. I mean, they have to do right by Giannis, everything that he's brought to them. So, hey, I just want to say it's not out of the realm. So,
well, here's the thing. There was no way. There was no way he was likely going. He loved Dallas, so he wasn't going to come as a free agent. There was never ever any thought of doing that, right? The trade that happened is still a bigger miracle, even
for sure. What?
So
Luka Doncic.
I would say the lesson learned there is never say never.
Real shit.
But I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my God, we're always going to be wrong. No, that shit does not happen. That is a miracle. That is a lottery winner. However, when you get into the more detail, when you're not back again to letting the noise dictate what was going on, we have seen evidence, being basketball people, we have seen evidence about that organization treating Luka a certain way. A grown-ass man.
Can't drink.
A grown-ass man, Michael Finley, taking a beer out of the guy that just sent you to the finals.
He should be
if a grown-ass man, and that's the thing with Luka that I do absolutely appreciate about him. He's actually a nice man. He's a good dude. That's why him and LeBron aren't clashing, because he's a good guy. He can make it work. He's like Magic, but with a little bit more intensity, right? Magic was intense, but it was more, like with a smile, right?
Composure, yeah.
So if a grown-ass man, me, try to take a beer away from me, I would have Stone Cold Steve Austin his ass. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You want me to stunner your ass right now? Give my fucking beer back.
The stunner, not the stunner.
I think I would have let go of the can anyways. My hands are pretty hard grip. I've had some people hit me a few times when they're trying to get the thing out of my hand. I don't know. I guess I hold shit pretty tight anyways naturally. But the point is, these guys had evidence. We've seen visual evidence of that organization not liking Luka Doncic. But they guessed wrong. They fucked up. But they got Cooper Flagg, so I guess they didn't fuck up too much.
No, you lost Luka, brother. You fucked up big time. Cooper's going to be good, but
imagine if they didn't, though. Imagine if they were picking 6th.
Man, right?
It'd be much worse over there. Cooper Flagg saved Dallas. Because Cooper Flagg is, in my view, because a lot of my friends kept asking me for comps. I'm like, I don't really know how to comp him. And then I started looking at his game a little bit more in the NBA. Obviously, you saw it, at Duke a little bit, but not really, because you never know about in college. College is too team oriented.
The jump is so big, you can't. It's hard.
So I said, okay, here's my comp. And watching him play the first couple months, I said he's kind of a level below Derrick Rose.
God, Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
What do you
Like
mean?
the way his body, it's very springy, but not close to Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is freakish athlete.
Insane.
He had Harold Miner hops. Harold Miner just sucked at everything else. If you guys remember who Harold Miner was. Harold Miner was the guy that won the slam dunk contest and was called Baby Jordan. Athletic freak. Robert Pack was pretty damn athletic too.
Honestly, Joe, I'm trying to make sense of that one, brother. I'm not seeing the comparison.
It's the only. He doesn't really have a comp. I couldn't think of anything other than
Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum.
I think Jason Tatum is as athletic as Cooper Flag will be, or is.
I mean, he can hit a whole nother level, but I think that's a solid comp.
I'm not saying he's Derrick Rose.
Scottie Pippen. That's a great comp for him right there.
I don't think he's Scottie Pippen anywhere close to Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen glides. Cooper is stationary. He it's like he engulfs his game and it explodes. That's who he is.
Scottie for sure.
Handle Scottie?
I think Cooper has more handles than Scottie, in my opinion.
Maybe, but my thing is, again, there really isn't a comp if you really want to get down to the details. I don't remember anybody in the past that I can compare to, other than I saw Derrick Rose play. I saw how he kind of conducted the offense. It's similar, but I'm not comparing him to Derrick Rose, because Derrick Rose, when he was on, was nasty, really nasty.
Spin move, back scratcher, and dunk on your
ass.
that shit.
When he would take the ball around, like that
shit was crazy.
I used to always wonder, he's going to break his wrists if he keeps dunking like that,
right? I used to, Joe. I remember being like a kid, like I think I was like 13 or whatnot at the time, man. He was coming. I remember seeing him come through the lane with this spin move, and then he would back scratch on people. I had to go out there and try it. I would try that move all the time, put the hoop at like 5 feet and try the same shit. And to think that he was doing that on NBA players, and people were getting the Derrick Rose flu around that time. Remember, they didn't want to play. They didn't want to play when D Rose was coming to that building. Michael Finley would body slam Luka. Hey, what?
Why? Because he's from Chicago.
Why? Because he's black.
There you go. See, why you got to be all racist, man?
Come on, guys.
Huh? Why you got to be like that?
Andy.
El Rosto's saying, speaking of investments, Dalton is shooting a higher percentage from three than Luka. Luka's at an abysmal 32%.
Good thing numbers aren't black and white.
Luka has never been a sharpshooter. He is 35 for his career, thereabouts. That's not good at all. That's exceedingly average. And to this year, he has not found it from deep on a consistent basis. I'll just say this: Dalton, who is a terrible defender and doesn't do a whole lot else. He doesn't play make. He doesn't make his teammates better. He doesn't average a high amount of rebounds or assists. That's what he's supposed to do, is come in and hit shots. And when he can't, he is a problem out there for the Lakers.
Gerald, you know what's something I learned growing up watching basketball? Not all shots are created equal. The shots that Luka Doncic are taking versus the shots that Dalton Connect are taking, go ahead and look them up. Look at them, guys. They are vastly different shots. Luka Doncic is taking contested, sometimes side-leaning fadeaways, double team threes, versus Dalton Connect is taking wide open catch and shoot, corner, wing, 3-pointers. Come on, guys. Please understand this. Not all shots are created equal. That was not a good comparison to talk about Dalton Connects. I think
if Dalton doesn't come in and shoot 40%,
Dalton's got to go. Honestly,
when did I say that? When did I say Cooper Flag was Robert Pack? I just mentioned his name. That's it. It had nothing to do with comparing him to anything.
You know what it's like, Joe.
Jesus Christ, these people are killing me tonight.
Luka is taking bad shots, John. I don't know if it's a bad shot though. When you lead the
Luka
league
does
in
take some
scoring,
bad shots.
he
I
does
will
take some
give
bad
him.
shots. But
He
when
does
you lead the league in scoring, it's kind of hard to tell somebody that you're taking a bad shot, unless it's like a gruesome shot, like you're triple teamed. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it's very hard to tell the player that's leading the entire NBA in scoring. Yo, that's a bad
So what
shot.
do you want? You want Marcus Smart to take those shots?
That's
How
what I'm
about LeBron?
saying, right? And that's kind of how I feel. Remember when Kobe used to shoot? I mean, RIP Kobe, but I feel like throughout his career, he's always shot a lot. But remember around the time when they were asking him, like, yo, you have like the most misses like of all time, or they were saying something crazy. Remember, he was like, well, good thing I'm a shooting guard, right? He's supposed to get him up. And you know what? At the time, who else was gonna take him? Kobe, latter half of his career, was dealing with some very rough teams. I'm gonna be honest with you. So, in the same situation, like, I'm not saying this team is nearly as bad as those like latter half of Kobe's career Laker teams, but what I am saying is I'm taking Luka Doncic step back, Luka Doncic sidestep, Luka Doncic double team over a lot of other players on this team. So again, like, some shots are crazy, but other shots, you know what? You're leading the league in scoring. You're averaging 34 points per game. I can't tell you that's a bad shot. Like those two shots he hit today when he was just like fading, like those two bad in the fourth quarter, those back-to-back threes. That like, you can't say that's a bad shot if it goes in. Sometimes
Nick T. Again, Nick T. is the really not on the Luka train. He says, come on, John, about Luka averaging 25 points. Share the ball a little more. Again, I do think he needs to make some better decisions at times. He does fall in love with the three-pointer too much. He does the ones with that he takes those step backs when there's 20 seconds left on the shot clock. You could say to him, hey, you might want to look for a better shot. You'll just
I used to hear this shit with Kobe too, by the way.
Yeah, but again, guys,
But you get what you get when it comes to Luka.
Nick T,
That's who he is.
Nick T, I love and appreciate the fact that you here and like you
I don't appreciate any of it. So
okay,
we're
hold on. Well, I appreciate it because he's here. So Nick T, I appreciate you here. But look, what I'll say is this: if you're a Lakers fan, would you rather have Luka Doncic shoot the ball more, or DeAndre Ayton, or whoever you want, a Dalton Connect? It just simply comes down to that, man. I mean, I want Luka. I want my better player taking the better shot. I mean, it's more of a chance to go in. You're right. He's not Stephen Curry. He's Luka Doncic, arguably better. not as a shooter, but as a player, I might take Luka, honestly.
All right. I'm just trying to stir the pot, y'all. El Rosto says, but Nick T says something about connect. No one as you, Jor, connect. I don't think that's the English language, but okay. That's Nick T. Maybe the next comment. T3 says, who cares? Luka and AR, LeBron all average 30 as long as they win. Yeah, it doesn't matter. The Lakers are getting the wins right now. And with a win tomorrow, Joe and John, they could be second place, or they would be second place, tied for second place in the Western Conference. I think that is way beyond any of our expectations at this point in the season. I think people are missing the point, because this team has a lot of flaws, yet still is finding a way that they could possibly be this high up in the West. They just, again, they're missing the point when they're talking about, oh, this, that, this. The Lakers are where they're at, and it should be a surprise to everyone, guys. Joe? I like that trade, though, DBSH, but then the real world stepped in.
Let's do it.
DBSH
trade override on. They have to accept a trade. Yeah, it's like a little setting within 2K. I'm sure you could do it in real life too, right? 2K is like real life, right?
Connect for Trey Murphy.
I'm thinking more of Connect for Giannis. Just do the little trade.
I mean, how good is it that we could talk about a team that possibly could be in second place by the end of
Nick T, be careful, brother. You're driving.
Yes.
I guess everything I said at the beginning of the show didn't really register to anybody. This team is as good as the league is going to be at the end of the year and through the playoffs. That's it. We have to wait. Now, if all things are equal, if everyone is healthy, Wemby is healthy, no injuries on any of these teams, they will get clapped by
Whoa, Joe.
bad. Yeah, they'll get destroyed. Unless LeBron is playing like LeBron now, but I can't be realistic there. I can't say that they're going to get LeBron of 2018 in after an 82 game season and going through a month of playoff basketball. That's just not fair. The only way that maybe there's a chance of that is getting back to 30 minutes a game for him the rest of the year. But the Lakers can't stay healthy. Rui's not available. AR's not available. They're not going to be able, and he's not going to be able for a while. That they were already thin in terms of the depth, and you've lost two of your starters, and they're still winning, by the way, and they're winning on the road. So it's nice, but I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be when it matters. I don't know yet. I have to see how things play out.
Too early, y'all. Too early.
Enjoy the games.
Yes.
Enjoy the game.
Stop worrying about who the best player of all time is. It doesn't fucking matter.
Joe, they got to get to a point where they could just appreciate.
I want to be the best team ever. And being the best team ever means the Lakers need to win 2 more championships so they can pass the green turds.
Dab me up, Joe. Come on, man.
What matters?
No, real talk, man. Yeah, guys. Fudge trying to be greatest of all time. Let's be the greatest team of all time. That's the hype I'm on. And if it's LeBron that's going to help us get there, dope. If it's not, then get out of my team.
You know, I was asked the question after they won 2020. I was asking, "Oh man, you really want LeBron?" And I'm like, "What are you fucking nuts?" I go, "I'm a Laker fan." I go, "If LeBron wins the next 6 championships,
that's my dog."
You think I'm gonna be in LeBron, baby? Let's do this.
I'm gonna be wearing a fucking LeBron headband.
Okay, I'll be wearing LeBron jerseys and flip them around so it says James here. I'd be doing this all day. Come on, man. This is about the Lakers.
Yo, you would do the
powder. It's about this.
Powder, Joe.
Right here. Champions. Lakers.
Joe,
and well better believe I'm going to prop up LeBron. I got that question from my friends that I've known for years. Like, LeBron. I go, all that matters is winning.
It's real shit.
And I really thought, man, I really did think that it was coming, man. When they won the 17th and they tied the Celtics, I'm like, dude, this team's got to get another. They're going to get at least one more. Mm-hmm. If they don't get it next year, they're going to get it in 2022. But then everything blew up.
But now, Joe, we got Luka Doncic, so don't
Who's
worry.
Adam Queef?
McQueef? That's a name right there.
No, it's Adam Queef.
Adam Queef?
Yeah.
Who's that? Somebody in the chat?
Yeah, his name is Blob Ross.
Blob Ross. I know Bob
Adam
Ross.
Keefe.
Bob Ross. That's some.
Who the fuck is Adam Keefe?
You know who Bob Ross is?
I know who Bob Ross is.
That's some classic. Like when you're in college, just get like loaded and you just watch some Bob Ross in your dorm.
Who's Adam Keefe?
You're talking about the guy from way back when?
Someone mentioned Jack Sigma in this chat.
Yeah, Adam
Kiki Vandeweghe.
Jack.
I met Kiki Vandeweghe one time.
Joe, Adam Keefe.
Hey, that's actually a really good comparison. Flag is an athletic Kiki Vandeweghe. It's actually pretty good.
Too lanky.
Too lanky.
Yeah, the Vandeweghe is too lanky.
Bro, come on, Nick T. Nick T, I hope you were here for my rant earlier. I went on a rant on Jake LaRavia and talked about just the fact that he's just not fucking confident. He goes from one game scoring 24 to the next game shooting as many shots as a two-way player in Nick Smith Jr. And mind you, he played 34 fucking minutes. Nick Smith Jr. played 9, and they both shot the same amount of three-pointers. And one's supposed to be a three-point shooter. The other one is a two-way player. SB said, "I'm Bob Ross." Do you really? Let me see your painting.
Oh, Adam Keefe. Oh, I know what they're doing. Okay, that's what makes sense. Okay, sorry, I was all over the place on that one.
He was a journeyman forward.
Well, I knew who he was, but I was wondering why they said Adam Keefe.
Adam Keefe. Let me look up who Adam Keefe is.
He's a journeyman forward.
He's your typical Utah Jazz player.
Okay. Did I was gonna say something funny.
He played for 3 different teams in the NBA. But yeah,
But he's known for playing for the Jazz.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, shoot. Shout out to Adam Queef.
All right. He is Keith Van Horn, Cooper Flag. Van Horn didn't stay on the trajectory. Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
Keith Van Horn didn't have the hops.
I would have lit this guy up in school if I was in school with this guy.
Keith Van Horn.
I would have been like, "What's up, Adam Queef?"
No. He's better than Keith Van Horn. Especially, yeah.
Oh,
Flag.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard. Guys, come on. If I was in school, I would have been
I always wonder how different Jersey had, if Jersey had gotten the first pick in 97 and had they picked Kobe in 96, imagine Kobe and Duncan in Jersey.
Oh my God.
Yeah, T3. No. I remember Keith Van Horn. Keith Van Horn never reached the heights that Cooper Flag has already hit. And that was before the knee issues. Yeah.
Adam Queef. Is that not fucking hilarious, guys? I am like uncontrolled.
It's the word, the word queef, even though it is a funny thing.
Imagine this guy was in your elementary school.
But seriously, the word is funny. Queef.
Guy would have probably hated me. He probably would have.
This is funny too. I've never heard it in real time, but I've heard stories about it. Yeah.
Craig, I can never separate John Kokek and Joe Klein.
Kokek, you could call him Kokek. That's pretty much how he played.
Those guys, although Kokek got that big, huge salary too.
How about Joe McIlvaine? Speaking of Sean Kemp, Seattle paid him over the more money than they were paying.
That's right. One of the worst free agent signings in history, outside of the Lakers with Dang and Mozgov. That McIlvaine is that was a bad one by the Wizards. Well, the Bullets at that time, but I think it was by the Wizards. Yeah, so absolutely just terrible. But I think we're going to go ahead and head on out, Joe, because tomorrow we got the San Antonio Spurs. Again, Lakers win, they're in second place with the Spurs. They lose, they could fall down as far as 6. So again, and we're not delusions of grandeur here, but like you said, Joe, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Gets closer to April. Lakers somewhere second and third, hanging around there. Something happens to SGA. Something happens. Yeah. You never know.
Play it out. See what happens. Maybe you'll get lucky.
All right. I see a young lady tired. I think she's ready. Is she feeling better, John?
Yes, baby. Let them know how you feeling. Are you feeling better?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You were breaking Daddy's heart earlier this week. So
She was. Yes, she's getting ready to go to sleep. So.
Oh, now you guys are just bringing it. Randy Brewer. Oh, yes. 7'3". Man, what if not that guy? But he was stiff. He could not move.
Randy Brewer.
Could not move.
Greg Kite couldn't move.
But Greg Kite could elbow you.
Greg Kite looked exactly like a Greg Kite would look, too, by the way.
That's true.
If there ever was a Greg Kite and a face that you didn't see, it would look exactly like you would think.
Yes. Add some bandages, though, because he always got himself hurt. Wonder how. That's very accidental prone.
Bad food, bad diet.
Elbowing you in the face. Yeah. Tim Kempton. Yeah, he was,
Okay, you guys are naming a lot of names before my time.
Yes.
Dude, this is time when I wasn't even grown yet.
Is he still on the Phoenix Suns broadcast team? I don't know.
Greg Kite?
No, Kempton.
Oh, I don't know.
But yeah, Drip Show. Stefan is trying to get a hold of you. If you don't want to put your email address out there, just send it to me, LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com, and I will forward a DM privately to him. But he has an idea, Drip Show. He wants to run by you. Trying to get you some work, man. Trying to get you some cash. Cashola.
Chuck Nevitt and Greg Kite looked identical.
Dave Corzine, that's right. Oh, you know what? My favorite player from the Bulls around that time was Jawan Oldham.
I'm gonna be honest, guys. These names are all just
Has to be copyright free. Oh, okay.
Because
Stefan,
they're all white, John.
has
That's
to be
why.
copyright free.
That actually makes perfect sense. The age does not matter. If they were just black and that old,
White. Just say white.
Yeah.
I remember Jawan Oldham. That guy, before his knees went, man, that guy could actually touch the top of the backboard. I actually saw him block a shot where the height was going to the top of the backboard, and he blocked it. And it's just like, dang. But he had no skill offensively. He was just a leaper and a block shot artist at that time. And I think Jordan got frustrated with them, so they traded him or let him go just before they started winning all the titles, which I don't think is a coincidence either. But he passed away. Jawan Oldham?
Did he?
Serious? Oh, man.
What's his name? Jawan
Oldham.
Oldham?
Did he? I'm going to look that up right now. Yeah.
I do remember the game Karl Malone split Isaiah's eye in the 40 stitches.
He did. Oh, rest in peace. My best to his family. He was 68.
You remember the game when JJ Barea almost lost his
Played
leg?
for the Lakers, by the way, guys.
So awesome. I loved it.
Dude, that was
when Bynum clotheslined him.
when he clotheslined the fuck out of JJ
So
Barea.
awesome.
and then
Everyone
he
was
walked-
like, I can't believe this happened. Oh my God.
And then he took his shirt off and walked out.
You guys showed the damn Mikhail clothesline every 5 minutes in every NBA broadcast. How come that's okay?
Right.
What's the difference?
That was crazy. He's like, they're like, even Kobe doesn't support this.
Yeah, bullshit. You don't know anything.
Yeah, Jawan Oldham was a Laker for a few minutes, but by that time his knees had already gone at the very end of his career. But yeah, my respects to his family. Jawan Oldham, 10-year player in the league, passed away yesterday. Thank you, T3, for bringing it up. Truly appreciate it. That's sad because he was one of my favorites. I used to watch WGN games, bowl games, and yeah, he was, and then he went over to New York as well for the Knicks. So very sad to hear that. Do you remember his fight with New? Yes, I do remember that fight. That was, I do. Yes, I do remember that fight with Manute. Manute had a couple of tussles during his time. He wouldn't put up with stuff. Manute. He had a little bit of an attitude.
You guys watch Manute?
Yeah.
First NBA game I ever went to was Golden State and Clippers at the Big O.
Yeah.
And I saw Manute Bol. I still have the visual in my head where he had his hand on one of the players' shoulders and was going to the locker room, and he was darker than this phone. All I saw was eyes, and I was right there too.
Eyes and teeth. You're like, dude, what
the Sudan was there.
You had to put that in there.
Oh, 100%. See, we can do that because we got a black man on the show, and we can do that shit. Even though I'm darker than him, but it's still the same.
I give you the pass, brother.
Yeah.
But no, that's crazy. Honestly, that's so crazy. Guys.
But does YouTube and the rest of the world give that pass?
YouTube can suck my nuts.
They're gonna be like, they're just gonna basically run that little card next to me, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, he's good."
Well, describing somebody's appearance shouldn't be controversial.
He's 7'7", or he was 7'7".
Nothing to do with it.
He's got nothing to do with it.
That got nothing to do with what I'm saying. I'm telling you what I saw. What do you want me to say?
A 7'7" man will stick out to you. It was the basis of.
Well, I was on top of the
100% of skin color.
I was on top of the
Not
whatever
the 7'7" side.
mezzanine. So I was looking down to where he was walking into the locker room,
and he probably still was eye to eye with you. No,
you're a kid. You're just excited to see somebody you saw on TV, right? So you're like, hey, whatever.
Gotta be the color, Gerald.
All right, gotta
the
be.
color
I guess,
and
for you guys indeed.
His bulging eyes. Joe probably just saw eyes, teeth, and fingernails.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not joking.
It's
what I saw.
John. 7'7" was his, I believe, listed height, if I remember correctly.
That's wild.
Yes, but when he started to shoot threes, that was just cool to watch. I mean, people watch Bol, his son, shoot threes. It was even just more like a wind up type deal, just like that. I'm surprised that like a gust of wind with his windup didn't come along with it. But he was actually pretty good by the tail end of his career, especially with Golden State, Joe. So, yeah. Well, there you go.
Well, I like that how Washington had him and Muggsy on the same team. I remember when that happened.
That was classic. They would,
What's the earliest you guys like remember like I actually like watching and being locked in with basketball? Like actually
locked
knowing
in?
what's going on though.
I'd probably say 80 for me, but 77 is when I first saw my first games.
Like, was there a moment that you remember?
In 77? No, it was just general Lakers action.
Just watching basketball. What about you, Joe?
But the first real memory was
locked in 1990-ish.
In 79, 80.
But then locked in 91.
Because I watched the national championship game between Magic and Bird, and which was elevated college basketball to a pretty obscene record at that point in time as far as viewing, because it was the Mercurial Star versus the Mercurial Star. Mm-hmm. And just to see it translate over into Magic's first year, that lit up Southern California, just absolutely lit up. He was the life of LA, and it just exploded out there. And I had already loved the Lakers as a little kid, but yeah, seeing that happen when I was at 10 years old, you just blow up, and just like it did, Magic instantly became a superstar overnight. And he had that charm, charisma. Anytime you put a camera in front of him, he would just give you that smile, and just absolutely everybody loved him. Everybody wanted a piece of Magic, which happened. And then, but still, that first year, his rookie year, where he led them all the way to the title along with Kareem and that whole crew, was just so such great memories. Those are the ones I have of crystal clear memories in 1979-80. So all right.
Now, I was just wondering, I was just wondering because I was thinking about that for me the other day, and honestly, my first memory, like real memory of basketball, to be honest with you, was probably in 04 when Derek Fisher hit that 0.4 second shot. Like, because I was 6 years old. Like, I remember that day like vividly. And that from then on forward, I remember like really watching and being like, not really knowing what's going on, because you don't really know what's going on when you're 6, 7. But like, but I was just like, man, this is really freaking cool.
Who were the broadcasters? Trivia question for that.
Ooh,
Joe,
Gerald,
Joe, you'll know it. I know, Joe, you'll know it.
For the 04.4?
Yes, I know you'll know
it. It was Al Michaels and Doc Rivers.
Yeah. Oh. See, I knew you knew it.
I would not be. I was 6. I wouldn't be able to tell you that. But I could tell you how the play happened and everything. And then Kobe's 81
called me that day. They thought they were on a domestic call. They thought I was beating my wife or girl, whatever.
You were?
No, because he was so loud. He was celebrating so bad that somebody called the
Somebody thought I was beating somebody up. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And the cops were like, at the door, like, we heard of a disturbance. I'm like,
Derek Fisher
just hit a .4 shot. I went nuts. Oh, okay. Sorry. Good night.
I was just like, God, dude, I missed it.
Yeah, that was, man. And then game 6, I was in a little bit of a quagmire. My buddy invited me to the Tarver Roy Jones fight in Vegas. This is number 2 fight, right? So, for those of you that don't remember, Roy Jones Jr. was Floyd Mayweather times 10. Like, he was unbeatable, right? And Tarver lost a controversial fight in the first one, and I went to the second one, and Tarver knocked his ass out, and it was one of the greatest sports events I've ever been to. It was nuts, and it was right around when Game 6 was playing, so I missed a little bit of the game, but the fight finished quick enough to where I was able to get out and watch the last quarter. That was the game they beat San Antonio in 6, and at that time, when you beat San Antonio or if San Antonio beat the Lakers, you were going to win the championship. So I was elated. It was one of the greatest nights I ever had.
That's cool.
So I'm going to put this one up before we head on out. Isaac, I'm just going to say this. He says, would you want Wiggins and Jaquez? Check this idea. Heat get Giannis and Gabe. Lakers get Wiggins and Jaquez, Jaime Jaquez Jr. Bucks get Rui, Connect, and Bam, and a first-round pick for the Lakers. So we give. Let me get this straight. We give up our only first-round pick so that the Heat can get Giannis Antetokounmpo. What am I missing here?
I would do that trade if we don't give up a first.
Yes, but the thing is, a first half would have to go somewhere if Giannis is involved.
That would have to be a first-round pick that Miami gives because they're getting the prize.
Yeah.
We would be the facilitator where we get Wiggins' money off Miami, and then we get something in return, which is Triple J, which is a good thing. Wiggins solves a lot of our perimeter defense. We get rid of that dead weight in Gabe.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd make that trade in a heartbeat minus the first-round pick.
Yeah, as Joe said earlier, you don't give up the first-round pick. Plus, you're giving up a first-round pick to help Pat Riley get.
Okay, I'll do it if it's protected in the lottery. How about that?
I wouldn't. I'm not giving up a first round to help them get.
I'm just saying you solidify your depth and you have a perimeter defender now and you drop somebody's dead weight. I think it's a good trade.
I don't.
Minus the first round pick.
I'm not giving up a first. If you get to get Giannis, if the Lakers end up getting Giannis out of it, that's a different story. But I'm not doing it to help Miami get Giannis. I wouldn't do that. That to me, it doesn't work. Doesn't compute. A first round from us, Miami doesn't give up a first rounder, and they get Giannis. That's gonna be they're gonna hear about it like Dallas heard about it. Yeah, Dallas heard about Luka. But you only got one first round pick for Luka. Yeah.
Hey guys, what a great night. I'm gonna be honest. I love when I have a good laugh like that. That Adam Queef thing had me rolling earlier. But anyway.
All right. We're going to let you put that young lady to bed. But Joe, send us home, my friend, because tomorrow is the San Antonio.
Thank you for being here tonight. The Lakers win tonight. Beat New Orleans in New Orleans for their 23rd win. They are now 23-11. Have a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We'll see you tomorrow for the San Antonio game on the back end of a back-to-back. And until next time, we'll see you next time. I'll let you lead the way. I'm gonna head out.
All right, brother.
Later, guys.
All right,
Take
brother.
care. Adam Keefe, baby. Adam Keefe.